the financial aid bill that was passed.
Well, clearly Judge Kuhn is old school, and I like that because he's right on the mark. That's frankly, this financial services reform bill is another disaster. Now, it hasn't gotten the attention that cap and trade and healthcare have gotten. But I'll tell you this, folks, Gary Peters' fingerprints are all over this thing. He sat right next to Barney Frank, not only through the committee, but also the conference where they came up with this final thing. There's a number of holes in this. This perpetuates too big to fail. It raises taxes and fees on bankers. It raises the requirements for community banks in terms of how much that they have to hold, making credit more difficult. And you know, I don't know how you can talk about financial services reform without touching Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. They haven't been even addressed one iota in this bill. But Gary Peters is going to use this. He's going to beat up on Wall Street. He's going to tell you how tough he's gotten on those big bad guys in New York City. The fact is, it hurts us on Main Street. And until we stand up and say enough was enough, let the markets work themselves out, we're going to continue to get this kind of stuff from Barney Frank and Gary Peters.
Thank you. Anna Janik, same question.
Okay, I didn't read the bill. So I don't know what's in it, you know, financial services. I'm going to say again, we have to get rid of the Federal Reserve. And that's it. It's starting, to start is to add it to the Federal Reserve. But it was turned down. And I don't know, they are just taking more and more power.
Well, Anna, you're not alone when you say you didn't read the bill, because I'm sure Gary Peters didn't read the bill either. And most of the people that voted on it, by the way, it just passed 4 hours ago, so I'm not sure how many people in the Senate or the House actually read the bill, but my colleagues bring up a very valid point, and that is that it will mean more regulation, more taxation, and it's not the type of regulation that you or I would want to build up our economy and to grow jobs, to basically generate jobs. The problem here is when you create regulation that doesn't protect anyone, just benefits one group over another, we have a big problem. And as one of my colleagues here mentioned, it all started with Freddie and Fannie Mac and the hot market of loans, mortgage loans, where you could go and get any type of subprime mortgage without showing any type of paperwork. Folks, we left what made our country great, and that is this, that you can buy what you afford, you can get the credit you can get, but most importantly, don't over-regulate or require banks to do something that they shouldn't do.
Thank you, and I guess we go to Paul Wilday for the next question. And this is an important question because it was a conflict for many of us here in the state of Michigan at the very beginning of the financial bailouts. Will you vote against any and all future bailouts? Are some businesses too big to fail? How would you have voted on the bailout of General Motors?
Well, I would have voted no on this bailout of General Motors because I think it was poorly constructed. Now look at folks, the government played a huge role in General Motors' collapse in September of 2008. And they needed help. The federal government shared responsibility, whether it was the credit, whether it was the imposition of CAFE standards that nobody could successfully navigate. But the fact of the matter is General Motors had a large part of this too. Now what I would have done would have been similar to what happened to Chrysler back in the early 80s. And I would have assured that and fought for loan guarantees, but I wouldn't have put the government in an ownership position of both General Motors and Chrysler. And we needed to protect those jobs. These workers were being hurt and families being devastated through no fault of their own, much of it coming out of Washington. So I would have provided loan guarantees, but I would not have moved into a forced bankruptcy, and I would not have moved into a government takeover or a union takeover of the auto industry.
Thank you. Anna Janik.
The Detroit Free Press did an article about tea parties, and I was quoted in there. And the editor of the Free Press, Ron Jonkowski, is here, and I mentioned in that article that I did not agree with the way that the Obama administration administered the bailout. Now, folks, I've always driven American, and I grew up in a family that had a father that was employed by one of the automotive companies, happened to be employed by Ford. My brother works for Ford. A lot of my friends work for Ford, GM, Chrysler. But the bailout was the wrong thing to do, for a couple reasons. Yes, it was a government takeover instead of what we did in 1978 preparing paperwork in 79 and 80 under Carter and Reagan. The Reagan administration offered was the loan guarantees. But most importantly, what the bailout did was they eliminated the bondholders and the shareholders for any rights and gave unions and the government more rights than the bondholders and shareholders. Reminds me of Animal Farm, where some animals are more equal than others.
Thank you, Rocky. And Judge, finally, the same question. There are those who would argue that without the government. Same question, Rocky. Job security or no?
No, no job security. This isn't a position that you should have job security. It's up to the people. But I will tell you, some of you may like this, may not like this, but a mentor of mine happened to be the mentor of mine before I ran for office the first time, and he supported me because I learned a lot from him. It was Dick Headley. And Dick Headley brought term limits to Michigan. I and a guy named Patrick Anderson were the co-chairs of term limits around the state of Michigan, according with and a few others. And we got it on the ballot and we passed term limits in Michigan, and I supported term limits, and I still do. I do because it brings fresh blood and fresh ideas. And one of the interesting things that I'll point out about Michigan, because a lot of people talk about term limits in Michigan, that we've got all these inexperienced legislators. I honestly believe that we have experienced people. These are just partisan arguments that we've had even under in 82 under Blanchard and the 70s under Milliken. These are the same old problems we've got whenever we hit a recessionary period and partisanship.
Thank you. Judge Coon, same question?